most empowering sessions in high performance coaching is the psychology session. Why? I hear you ask. Because we start to understand the formula that our thoughts lead to our feelings, which really lead to our behaviours, our actions, and ultimately our results. And we become response able. We begin to acknowledge that life would be much more enjoyable if we could only recognise our poor thinking patterns and replace them with more empowering thoughts. Negativity has a way of making it into our thoughts, and it largely goes unrecognised because for many of us it's become an unconscious habit. Becoming the observer of yourself and taking that first important step to notice these negative thoughts and changing them on the spot is key. When you replace them with a positive, empowering thought, you'll notice a tremendous change in every aspect of your life. Now, these 7 deadly thinking sins are the most common ones that most of us are guilty of. The first one, I'll do it tomorrow. The truth is, you're never going to feel like doing what needs to be done. We'll fool ourselves into thinking there'll be a better time in the near future when I feel like it. But anything you're putting off isn't really going to get any easier. Have you had that experience? The most successful people are very good at taking care of the most important tasks at hand. Some things are uncomfortable, and it's necessary to push through that discomfort. Start with baby steps and build up your tolerance for that discomfort. The second one, I can't do this. I can't stick with anything. If you don't think you can do it, you're probably right. It's especially true with the bigger stuff. Remember, it's not about discipline. It's really about your focus and level of motivation. Tell yourself you can do it. Remind yourself about when you have accomplished a big goal. It's more about getting motivated and applying yourself consistently. Discipline is really only a good tool in the short term. Try this. Limit yourself to one big goal and just really get excited about it. The third deadly thinking sin is thinking that someone else's success impacts you negatively. There is room for all of us. It's faulty to believe that only a limited number of people can be successful. It may feel lonely at the top for some, but that doesn't mean there isn't any room for you, because you can be successful too. When others do well, you're actually better off being happy for them. You can examine their success and you can learn from it. And eventually with that practice, you'll also come to believe that others will be happy for you when you're successful. Our fourth deadly thinking sin, it's too late for me. We all have missed opportunities from our past, but that doesn't mean it's too late. Believe it or not, as much of a Hollywood staple as Samuel L. Jackson has become over the past 2 decades, he didn't get his big break until he appeared in Spike Lee's Jungle Fever in 1991 at the Hollywood old age of 43. And at 95 years old, Stan Lee was considered the godfather of Marvel Comics. However, he didn't create his first comic until he was 39. Colonel Sanders, the original founder of KFC, franchised the company back in 1952 at the age of 62. People in their 60s have attended medical school, law school. Others don't get married or have children until later in life. Some things do take a significant amount of time to achieve, but that doesn't mean you can't get started today. Our fifth deadly thinking sin, I'll never be successful. Everyone fails at something along the way to success. The good news is that failure can be the best way to learn. But focusing on your failures just causes you to feel bad all the time. Instead, focus your attention on your successes. Look back over your past and remember all the times you were successful. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. Make a list of all of those past successes and add your new successes to the list as they happen. Our sixth deadly thinking sin: why is this happening to me again? Unpleasant things happen that are completely outside of your control. It is a normal part of life. However, just like our failures, if we spend our time dwelling on them, we make ourselves miserable. We all suffer at times, but that suffering passes, particularly when we focus on what we can control, like our responses. The seventh one: I can be happy once I have accomplished, earned, fill in the blank. It's just stressing to hold yourself back from happiness until you've achieved some milestone. Unfortunately, once that goal is reached, there are always more goals to follow. Putting off your happiness can become a harmful habit. It's important to learn to be happy with where you are and what you have. It doesn't mean you have to be completely satisfied, but you can be happy in the meantime. Our negative thoughts have a tremendous impact on our happiness and success. It's important to recognize these negative thought patterns and start to rewire them. Reframe those negative thoughts into thoughts that are more realistic and supportive. I am certain you'll be glad that you did. Now, if this has been useful for you, I'd love you to share it with your friends or anyone else that you may think will find it useful. Because remember, you too can unleash your unique version of success.